This is Total Television reporting from the Oracle stand at the TM Management Forum in Dublin. I'm talking to Gordon Rawling, who is the Senior Marketing Director for the EMEA region. Gordon, what's your take on some of the main trends here, particularly standards?
Well, I think it's really interesting the kind of conversations that we're having this year as the industry has matured through the way it thinks about the way our systems work together, the way they actually connect in terms of the kind of customer experience they can give to the service provider's customer. And I think standards are really key. And this year is, I think, a key milestone where it's moved from an aspiration as to the way those things come together to being formalized standards that organizations such as Oracle can actually certify their products against, which actually gives service providers an assurance in terms of if they take that solution, that it'll actually do what it says, it'll work in the right way, and actually allows them to think about different things, allows them to spend more time thinking about customer experience and less time thinking about the way in which IT and technology fits together.
Where do you think the service providers are going? Well, what's their future in your view?
I'm not sure I've got a crystal ball, and I think sort of like the pundits who have tried to anticipate the silver bullet, it's a difficult job. I think what we try and focus on is putting together what we bring to this, but in a way where the platforms have fundamental flexibility built in. Because I think personally there's only ever been one silver bullet, and that's voice. And it's the way service providers actually wrap other things around that, connect that for a consumer audience or an enterprise one. And so you need a platform which is flexible. If someone does something innovative, you want to be able to react the next day. You want the ability to actually drive your own things out there quickly. And so it's about investing in those platforms which are flexible, not tied down by the legacy environments of the past, basically.
So what do you think might be the growth engine for operators?
Well, I mean, cloud is something which is obviously being talked about an awful lot, and absolutely there's a phenomenal potential, especially in the enterprise marketplace, in the cloud services. But I think one of the things that we spend a lot of time trying to talk to service providers about is, well, what's really going to be different about carrier-provided cloud? Because just a race to copy some of the people who perhaps been doing things like EC2 and Amazon, great service, but you need to offer something different. And I think service providers have a real potential to do that in actually leveraging what they have always done well, which is carrier grade, which is 5 nines, which is the kind of assurance for cloud services that actually no one else can provide. And so I think that's an area where we're seeing an awful lot of traction. And those kind of ways in which the infrastructure can come together to differentiate the services, not to copy. And I think that's where we have most of our conversations about the kind of revenue potential for the future.
Yeah, I mean, what are some of the technologies that operators should embrace, those that are looking to do things in a different way?
Well, I mean, we have a role to do things in a different way, but I think one of the areas, business intelligence has been talked about for so long. And this is an industry that it's mind-boggling, the amount of data which is generated just in seconds on these networks. And broadly speaking, I think we've not really stepped up as an industry and used that in a constructive way which adds value to the consumers and allows us to actually really grow the business, to make use of that insight. And one of the things we're doing is, since the acquisition of Sun, we can think a little bit differently ourselves in terms of the way in which software and hardware come together. And actually deliver very different kind of performance characteristics. We got some clients doing very interesting things in terms of where traditionally they would have turned some cubes once a quarter and got some marketing insight. Well, actually now rethinking that because of the whole different performance paradigm in place, where they can actually inform processes in real time of the real-time behaviors. And what's really insightful through that is it allows you to think in a very, very different way. About what that experience should actually be, and to actually inform the business and react as the business is reacting. And I think that's really exciting in terms of the potential for where these things can go forward. And that provides a baseline as well where service providers can actually, again, look to differentiate what they do because they have that insight. They need to be responsible in terms of the way they use it. But it is a way to actually differentiate those services from people coming from different perspectives, new competitors.
Well, thanks very much for talking to us.
Thanks very much for your time.